Welcome to Kiellie's World. Hey guys, welcome back to part 2 on things you need to know about your contract. In this video, I will be talking about, yes, the salary. Before I continue, if this is your first time viewing my video, welcome. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comment section. Okay? Great. I know you are all excited to learn about the salary, but I cannot provide the details without first explaining the major factors that may contribute to whether or not a recruiter or an institution will give you an exorbitant salary as opposed to just a reasonable salary. Now, there are many factors to consider, but I will highlight the most prominent ones. Now, the first one is your qualifications. Now, your qualifications will play a vital role in whether or not you get a high salary as opposed to just a reasonable salary. As a teacher in China, it is important that you have a certificate that enables you to teach English as a foreign language. For me, I have a TEFL certificate. Now, the more you have, it would be better for you. So if you have a TEFL plus a TESL or a TESOL, that is definitely great. In addition, if it is that you have an AP certificate, another factor is your years of experience. Just like any other organization, they want to ensure that you are capable, knowledgeable, and competent to complete the given task. And next one is very disturbing, but it's the reality. So another factor that they may consider is, yes. So this also plays a vital role in whether or not you're considered to get a higher salary as opposed to just a regular basic salary. So the clearer it is, or the whiter it is the better for you. So I have seen it, others have seen it, not all actually look at this, but it's reality. It happens, and it does happen with us being here. So that's also another factor that you need to take into consideration as it relates to what they look for when paying a certain amount for the salary. So if you're not considered to be from America, Canada, UK, Australia, South Africa, New Zealand, or even Ireland, then chances are you may not be considered a native speaker, and that can hinder you from actually getting an exorbitant amount for your salary. The type school that you will be assigned to. Now, there are 4 different types of school in which it is that you may be placed. You could be placed at a kindergarten, a private or primary school, an international school, or a training center. Now, for kindergartens, it requires a lot of energy. You have to be creative, you have to be enthusiastic, you have to be full of energy every day because you're dealing with children, and that's how children learn. Personally, I don't think I'm that fit and active to be doing it every day. Another school is private or primary school. Now, for private schools, I think you will be required to do more hours in the classroom, while as opposed to primary school, you don't get a lot. For my previous primary schools, I had one was 16 hours in the classroom, another was 14. Now I'm currently going to a private school, which will require me to have about 22 to 24 classes per week. So it's more work at a private school than as opposed to a primary school. Another school is the international school, and with international schools, they are more advanced. With international schools, you are required, or you will have more duties to fulfill. you may be required to do more than just oral English. Like for primary schools, you will just go to the classroom. You want to ensure that you have conversations with them. They know how to properly pronunciate the words, and it's along that line. While with international schools, you may focus on grammar, sentence building, and other. You basically go more in depth in English, and chances are you may not only be teaching English at an international school. And the final type is training centers. Now, training centers are vocational schools that children attend after school. Now, with training centers, you may work from about 5 to 9 or 5:30 to 9:30. It depends on the institution that you are placed and their hours. So with that, if you're not a morning person, then that may be ideal for you. But with training centers, it's a lot of work. While in the week you may have 3 hours, on the weekends you will have longer hours, and based on the school that you are at, you may have additional duties. So if it is that you are willing to go to a training center, and based on the task that's required of you, then definitely, I think out of all the schools, international along with training centers, they pay the most. And last but not least, a factor that you may need to consider is whether or not you will be recruited by an agency or directly to a school. Because if it is that you're recruited through an agency, then chances are they may be getting almost 50% of your salary. So personally, I prefer to be recruited by the school directly, but at the end of the day, there are pros and cons to both. Now let's get into the salary, right? Yay! Now let's dive into the figures. I am going to be using my very first pay slip to basically illustrate what to expect on your pay slip, or what mine looks like, because obviously it's going to be different. What you get will be different. So for my very first contract, I got 9,000 RMB plus housing allowance, which was 2,500 at the time. So the gross salary was 11,500 and the net salary 10,823. With the salary, which is the 9,000, it was split in two. So that we have base salary and lecturer remuneration. Now the base salary is what you will basically get throughout, regardless. In regards to the lecturer remuneration, this is calculated based on you completing all the tasks given. So if it's a case where you're supposed to complete 64 classes for the month and you have successfully completed it, then you will get your full 6,000 RMB. If it's a case where you were unable to complete it, maybe because you were sick, then they will do their necessary calculations and you will be given what is expected based on the calculation. However, if you're unable to complete the 64 classes or whatever amount you are assigned because of the school or the institution, then you will still receive your full lecturer remuneration. Just to inform you, this figure is not fixed. Every contract is different. You have some contract that may have more money for the base salary, more for the lecturer remuneration, or vice versa. So the contracts are different. You may get a contract that does not require you to require a split. So when you get your contract, you may not necessarily see where they split it, lecturer remuneration and base salary. You may just get one fixed amount for the month. So based on what I'm saying, it doesn't necessarily mean that your contract will stay this way or whatever the case may be. But yes, now within that time period, within my first year, I was able to actually send home over about 140,000 to assist with my bills, my loans, and stuff like that. For my second year, I was able to actually get 15,000 RMB for the month, including my housing allowance. Now, with that, I was then able to increase the amount that I was able to send back home. Now, 15,000, let me go ahead and do the necessary calculations. Now, let me not include the housing. So my salary at the time was 12,000. Now the net salary would have been about 11,200. So 11,200 would have been my net salary. With that, I want to ensure that I make the necessary deduction, which would be able to sustain me here, and also send what I needed to send home to cover my bills. Now, at that time, it was little over 200,000. So I'm saying all of this to say that your first contract might not be an exorbitant amount. But what I will say is the greatest thing is to get into the system, because once you are in the system, you will have experience, you will have a network in which it is that you will build relationships that can provide you with better opportunities. So coming here is basically just the first step. Another important thing that I want to say is you also have the opportunity to get overtime. So overtime may be calculated where you get 150 RMB or you get 200 RMB. It really depends on your contract. So that can also contribute to you earning more money. In addition, I want to ensure that you pay attention to what you will be getting for your winter salary, because in winter you will be getting about 7 weeks. You will be getting a 7-week break. And you want to ensure that whatever figure is listed for that time period, it will be a substantial amount to sustain you throughout that time period. If it is that you may need to pay rent, or if it is that you need food, well, you definitely will need food. So figure out, verify with your institution, your recruiter, how much you will be getting for your winter salary, and do your necessary calculations. Will that be sufficient? You have the ability to earn over 400,000 Jamaican dollars per month, but you have to take into consideration the factors that I outlined earlier. In addition, it is highly unlikely that for your first contract you will be able to earn that amount. If it is that you have any questions, or if something wasn't clear, please do not be afraid to message me on my Instagram page at Kiellies, that's KIELLIES_world, or you can basically just leave a comment and I will respond to it. I hope you find this very informative. Thank you so much for watching. Have yourself a good day.